The Practice of the Flames by Saint Germain. Chapter 1. Archangel Jophiel. Day Monday. Second ray. Color gold. Service, illumination. Virtue, wisdom. Dearest Archangel Jophiel and your legions of illumination and wisdom, envelop me in your illuminating rays so that I may be able to master myself. Teach me to externalize the divine ideas that come to me from God into form. I give you thanks. Monday. The gold-yellow flame. Its day is Monday. The archangel who sustains it is Jophiel, whose divine complement is named Constantia. Its director is the ascended master Confucius. Its Elohim is Cassiopeia, and its complement is the beloved Minerva. The gold-yellow ray represents divine wisdom, illumination, love, and peace. The virtues that particularly stand out in it are precisely wisdom and illumination. Wisdom does not consist of possessing knowledge acquired over many ages. This acquired knowledge represents general understanding and culture. However, a person can be a distinguished scientist or be generally cultured and yet completely lack wisdom. Wisdom in human beings begins with the love they manifest for their neighbor, and all experiences acquired in all their lives over millennia will transform them into wise beings. People who habitually criticize, who judge without mercy, without even knowing the cause, the deep or dramatic motive that may exist behind the specific action of any being, by allowing themselves to behave in such a negative way, lack wisdom, as they still lack experiences and love to be able to manifest the universal love which is founded on loving one's neighbor as oneself. Unfortunately, human beings always observe the effect and never the cause. Among the cosmic laws there exists a law called the law of cause and effect. What people call personality in an individual is nothing more than the result of a series of prior causes that, when combined, produce more or less imperfect feelings, attitudes, and mentalities as an effect, the consequence of which is that a person expresses themselves in this or that way, creates this or that, is shy or aggressive, and takes an erroneous or correct attitude toward life and their fellow beings. Many speak of physically impaired beings or morally impaired beings. People speak, but do they know who can be exempt from such an impairment? Is there anyone who does not carry a quiet frustration within? Who does not have a hidden complex on some level? There is a famous man who once said somewhere on this earth, "It no longer amuses me to hear one human being judge another human being. Only the God individualized in man, the divine I Am Presence, can be our judge, because that, in the form of consciousness, is what usually reprimands you when you do not act correctly. But one must know how to distinguish and know when our beloved and divine I Am Presence speaks or when our very limited human mind speaks. When you come to love your neighbor with universal love, then you begin to act with wisdom. When we seek the hidden reason or cause behind an action, we know what must be done to remedy it, to help those who are acting wrongly. The law itself teaches you this. Correct the cause and you will remedy the effect. Whenever you find yourself perplexed by a certain situation, whether it be someone else's behavior or if you are forced to make an urgent decision, or if you find yourself needing to make a drastic change in your life and this worries you and sometimes even frightens you and makes you hesitate because you are unsure of which path you should follow, remember that the gold-yellow flame is one of the 3 original flames you have lit in your heart. It is the one flaming in the center of your heart, within our much-beloved triple flame. When you need it, think of it, mentalize it, visualize it in your imagination. See how it grows, how it envelopes you from head to toe. Try to see your entire body being enveloped in that golden light. This is asking for illumination. Remember that the flames are living entities. They hear, they respond, they act. They are the substance of God in action. They are love, intelligence, life, truth. They contain all the virtues of God. They integrate all aspects of God. Each flame contains all divine aspects and virtues, although in each color one or more of these virtues act more prominently. By thinking of the flame or color, you are invoking God. But it is quicker to invoke a flame or color for each circumstance. For lack of love, hatred, envy, resentment, war, you should use the pink flame. Against mental retardation, clumsiness, incomprehension, against everything that manifests a lack of intelligence, use the golden flame, although intelligence is present in all flames. But it is in the golden flame where this quality stands out. Against bodily ailments, against that appearance we call illness, against falsehood, where lies try to impose themselves, invoke the green flame, which is healing and truth. Against depression and death, invoke the white flame, which is purity and ascension, which is resurrection and life. To obtain forgiveness, to transmute karma, invoke the violet flame. To stimulate faith, to achieve protection, to find strength, invoke the blue flame. To ask for daily provision, to find peace and tranquility, use the ruby gold flame. Although all flames equally provide in material matters and produce peace in spiritual ones. The beloved Archangel Jophiel says, illumination will come to people in different ways. Sometimes they may perceive it as the whisper of a breeze passing through the branches of a tree. Other times, as the roar of a wave when it breaks upon coastal rocks. However it may be, illumination is part of daily life. Whatever it may be, all illumination emanates from the Father, because all that was, is, and will be. All that is, will be, and was, and all that will be, was, and is. These three affirmations provide the key to the history of the planet and the history of human evolution, and teach us that everything currently happening has happened before and will happen again. Submerged worlds, re-emerging continents, enveloped civilizations returning to prominence, races that pass, races that come, races that are. Everything that every man, woman, or child is currently living or confronting in their own particular life, other beings have already lived it or are living it parallel to them or will live it in the future. The experiences in each life are experiences that have already been lived by other souls, experiences that others are facing or will face in the future. Everything is learning. We all travel the same path and move towards the same goal, ascension. Everything is teaching and will continue to repeat itself until living beings understand the divine plan and know what they must do to carry out the designs of the Supreme Creator. Real illumination comes to you with the purpose of showing you the path you must follow to achieve ascension. This path, in most cases, is full of obstacles that you must overcome to achieve ascension. What generally comes easy to you is not necessarily the most suitable path, but rather another test to see how you behave in the face of the repercussions of a situation that may tend to lead you down erroneous paths. When you feel doubt about what you should do, invoke the beloved ascended Master Confucius and the servants of the Ray of Illumination, asking them to guide you. May the golden flame envelop you. Archangel Jophiel has spoken. This ray encompasses all individuals who feel a special predilection for teachings, and among them, as instructors, a compassionate heart and patience are prominent. Above all, they use this with the slow-witted disciple who is slow to comprehend. They pour upon these individuals the oil of their love, their tenderness, contained in the purest divine love, and thus achieve great successes. Master Kuthumi was director of the Golden Yellow Ray for many centuries. Among other incarnations, he was Gaspar, one of the three magi. He also incarnated as Pythagoras, then as Saint Francis of Assisi, and more recently as Saint Martin Delaware Porres, the humble Peruvian saint. In his incarnation as Saint Francis of Assisi, he left us this most beautiful prayer, which is entirely love and humility. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is error, truth. Where there is discord, unity. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant me, Lord, the grace not to seek so much, to be understood as to understand, to be consoled as to console, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and in dying that we are born to eternal life. Now speaks the Elohim of the golden flame, Cassiopeia. Within your heart is the golden flame of illumination that will reveal the truth to you. Visualize yourself in the midst of a pillar of golden light, formed by a cascade of wisdom that arises from your mind and heart, emanating from your higher self which resides above your head. Try to feel how a cup full of golden light pours over your head, falling into your heart and filling all the cells of your body, invading every organ, function, and part of your physical body. Observe how it fills your brain and your mental world, how it radiates into your emotional world, how it penetrates your etheric body up to 9 feet outwards, surrounding you in all directions. Now feel that you are the Christ commanding that golden radiation which blesses all that touches the hem of your garment. Feel it thus and become a good conductor of illumination for the earth. Final prayer. Sealed in the love, illumination, and wisdom of beloved Master Kuthumi, beloved Masters Lanto and Confucius, Archangels Jophiel and Constantia, Elohims Cassiopeia and Minerva, we give thanks to the great ascended host of light, to the angelic and elemental realms, for their light and love, for their healing power, for their protection and supply. We ask them to maintain their light through and around us, and to bless all life everywhere. May the blessing of Almighty God and the peace that surpasses all human understanding be with each of us. May the mercy of God protect us and guide us on the spiritual path towards light and freedom. A short biography of beloved Confucius. Beloved Confucius, known by his contemporaries as Master Kung, was born in 511 BC in the village of Sichu, in the state of Lu, from where the family had moved from the Duchy of Sung, where they were relatives of the ruling house. Confucius's family can be traced back to the sovereign Hang Ti, who reigned in 2697 BC. His father, known as a soldier, married twice. Confucius was the child of the second marriage. His own words illustrate the growth and development of his intellect and genius. At 15, he tells us, "My mind was focused on learning." At 30, I was firm. At 40, I was free from delusions. At 50, I tried to follow the laws of the province. At 60, my ears were attentive to the truth. At 70, I could follow the dictates of my heart without exaggerating. Dimsdale Stocker states that Confucius married when he was only 19 years old and had 1 son and 2 daughters. When he was 50 years old, he entered political life, being appointed governor of Chung Tuesday. Having previously established a reputation as a teacher and moralist, he rose even higher in public esteem until he finally became an idol in the eyes of the people. He held this position for a short period, as he had to resign from it and began a period of exile during which he moved from state to state. But his followers and disciples attested that, even in the hour of adversity and defeat, the Master's courage and serenity did not abandon him. His transition took place in 479 BC. Below are some of his sayings. To see what is right and not to do it is a lack of courage. Make it your chief aim to be conscientious and sincere. Sincerity is the path to heaven. The requirement of sincerity is proper to man. The superior man practices before he preaches. When you have faults, do not hesitate to abandon them. He who expects much from himself and little from others will prevent others from hating him. The wise have no doubts. The virtuous have no sorrows. The brave have no fears. Do not do unto others what you would not have them do unto you. When you are working for others, do so with the same enthusiasm as if you were working for yourself. If acts of kindness are not accumulated, they are insufficient to establish your reputation. If acts of wickedness are not accumulated, they are not enough to destroy your reputation. Make those who are near you happy, and those who are far away will come. Invocation. Beloved Master Confucius, I love you, I bless you, and I thank you for your service to our earth for so many centuries. Help us all to feel that great reverence for all life that you possess and the love that helps it to be freed. Thank you, beloved Master Confucius, the source of wisdom. Only he who has learned to penetrate the silence becomes a conductor of God's blessings into the world of man. The use of life, the purpose for which you were created, becomes the primary quest of the individual consciousness of one who is sincere. How much of that life has passed through your lips in a scattered way, in comments, in unkindness, which has affected others? Of the words you speak daily, how many have you felt the desire to condense into your auras, so that when anyone looks at you, they may see them? Of the number of words you speak, how many do you wish to immortalize as part of your life's heritage? Words which you feel the desire to have your name written upon? Most foolish men today suffer from using life in a prolific way, carelessly, and with words devoid of kindness. The tongue used as a whip, the tongue used as an instrument of righteous indignation, the tongue used to plant poisonous seeds, which grow and are harvested in the minds and consciences of others who are totally ignorant of such imperfection, is not the primary contributing factor that the energies of your lips and tongues choose to convey what you truly felt in another's world. Beloved Immaculata. Chapter 2. Archangel Chamuel. Day Tuesday. Third ray. Color rose. Service. Adoration. Virtue, divine love. Beloved Archangel Chamuel, I love you and I bless you and I implore you to keep me sealed in a pillar of rose flame of love and adoration to God, until it becomes contagious to all life that I contact, today and forever. I thank you. Tuesday, the rose flame home of Saint Germain. We have reached the third ray which completes the Trinity, also complementing that marvelous triple flame that we carry in our own heart and of which we have already imparted the knowledge. We have said that the triple flame, that is, God in our heart, represents the Holy Trinity. The blue ray is the Father, who bestows will and power. The golden or yellow gold ray is the Son, representing wisdom. The pink ray is the Holy Spirit, representing love, the godmother or feminine aspect of God, as he can be called the great androgyne, for he possesses the radiations of the Father and the Mother united, the Father who is justice, the Mother who is mercy. The pink ray highlights the characteristics of divine love, adoration, and opulence. Divine love from God to us, man's adoration toward God, opulence, wealth, or abundance. The day corresponding to this ray, that is, the day on which it is most active, is Tuesday. The archangel who maintains it is called Chamuel, whose divine complement is charity. Its director is the ascended Master Lady Rowena, whose complement is the beloved Victor. Its Elohim is Orion, and its complement is Angelica. The realm of Orion is that constellation visible at night in the sky, representing a hunter with a belt formed by 3 stars known as the 3 Kings. From this belt hangs a group of tiny stars, forming a small dagger, suspended from the hunter's belt. It is one of the most beautiful constellations in the firmament. It contains no less than 2 first-magnitude stars, 4 of second, 7 of third, and 12 of fourth. In antiquity, it was called the Giant of the Heavens. There resides this Elohim with his complement, Angelica. The pink ray is one of the most valuable and important aspects of God. It is the primordial activity that sustains the universe upon its foundations, since without love there could be no cohesion, and without cohesion, the universe cannot exist. This ray or flame represents the magnetizing or magnetic love of God. It is the activity that solidifies and precipitates divine ideas into the world of forms. It is what brings them into manifestation on the material plane, for as we have explained, love coheses, unites, builds, while its opposite, hatred, disharmonizes, separates, and destroys. Love is what gives cohesion to atoms, making them remain united. Otherwise, if that force of attraction which manifests between them operates throughout the entire universe, and upon which the law of universal gravitation is based, were suddenly to turn into a force of repulsion and this reaction were to manifest in a chain, as atoms separated from one another, form would be destroyed, and the entire universe would vanish into chaos. This is what can happen with an atomic bomb unleashed without control. It is a human creation forged not by love, but by hatred, and its results are well studied, we all know them. This must be learned very well. If the magnetizing love of God were withdrawn from us, everything would be destroyed in a second. It is love that keeps us united. It is love that maintains homes, families, towns, nations, and it is love, represented by the pink ray, that must save our planet from the destruction that has been insistently announced to us through various channels. We are children of love. Within it, we are born. Within it, we live and have our being. Outside of it, we find only death, tears, and destruction. We must not believe that love, by uniting, imprisons or binds. Quite the contrary, the pink flame is known as the flame of freedom, and one of its temples on the etheric plane is located above the Château de la Liberté, in Marseille, France. Love liberates because it grants you the faculty of forgiveness, thus freeing you from resentment and hatred, passions that do not help us in any way but, on the contrary, hinder our spiritual growth and delay our ascension. It also frees us from fear, for we will see everything as good instead of assuming it to be bad. We will see with the eye of Christ, which only knows how to look with love. Through love we draw near to God, the source of all good. Therefore, if we act with love, we will do good to our neighbor, remedy our apparent ills, and by the law of correspondence, all kinds of good will come to us, and we will be freed from illness and misery. We will have the power to act upon everything that appears to be less than good, and will be able to lovingly transmute it into good. The intelligent use of the pink flame comes to free us from sorrows, sadness, and remorse. It comes to open the doors of the kingdom of love where we, by giving love, will be loved. For by the law of correspondence, what we give to others will be given to us. What we sow, we shall reap. If we sow love, we shall undoubtedly harvest love. The use of the pink flame. This is one of the most practiced flames/rays, as its intelligent use brings immediate results to our world. When there is disharmony of any kind between individuals in any type of human relationship, be it marital, social, commercial, political, etc. When, in the use of mechanical devices such as a car, washing machine, or telephone, an obstruction manifests in their harmonious operation. Whenever there is an apparent lack of something, be it money, a job, or an employee who does not provide efficient assistance. On every such occasion, immediately visualize the pink flame, which is located to the right of the triple flame burning in our heart. Mentally focus on it and bless it so that it expands. Project it outside your body and create an immense bonfire of luminous, beautiful pink flame that burns without scorching, surrounded by a pink mist full of sparkles and luminous points. Extend it and fill the entire space with it. Illuminate the whole house, the whole building, the whole neighborhood, and let that luminous pink mist, which you feel is full of love, spread throughout the entire city. Then bring to your mind the person, entity, or thing you wish to treat and place it at the very center of that pink light you have projected outside yourself. Lovingly wrap it, bathe it, penetrate it with that light. Feel all divine love pour from your heart and envelop that which you wish to help. Bless its good, bless its divine presence there, and ask it to act. The results will be astonishing. When dealing with a washing machine, car, etc., simply invoke the angels of the pink flame to envelop the object in pink light. These angels will act there and correct the apparent imperfection. In all cases, fill yourself with divine love and project it upon whatever needs help. Call upon Archangel Chamuel so that with his pink flame, he may sweep through the person, circumstance, situation, or thing you wish to improve. Experiment with the pink flame. Visualize it igniting every cell, organ, or part of your body. Saturate your feelings in it. You will see how you attract people or things to yourself. Visualize it bringing you comfort and comfort to all who suffer, especially our defenseless birds and animals, domestic animals, especially those without homes, those whom no one seems to want, and witness how marvelous the activity of this blessed flame is. Use it to bless everything you contact with your five senses and all the artifacts you use whose services you expect to be perfect. Bring perfection over all imperfection and erase it. Furthermore, invoke the great beings who serve on the third ray to give you the added benefit of their loving pressure, and you will see the perfection it brings to your world. The pink flame of adoration is unparalleled. When any mechanical device does not work, simply remember that it is a divine idea from God, transmitted to humanity by the divine mind through some human brain that served as a receiver. Bless the idea and speak to the device. Remember that everything hears, vibrates, feels, has intelligence, and possesses the power to react, manifesting sympathy or antipathy. And since under the law of love everything returns to you what you give it, you will receive what you are giving, which is also the law of correspondence. It functions like an echo. It emanates from you, touches what it must touch, and returns to you again, but multiplied, whether it be blessing, love, or hatred. What you give, you shall receive. When you speak to the device or an animal or a thing, remind it that it is a materialized idea of God, and that God made everything good so that it would proceed and function well. Tell it that it has been made for our convenience and not for our disadvantage, not to leave us stranded at the moment we need it most, not to bite or attack us but to accompany us, not to cause us problems but to help us. Tell it that you love it and expect good service and love from it. Consider that the truth is that the Spirit is functioning in that idea with all perfection. Mentally surround it with the pink light and pronounce the name of the beloved Chamuel. The breakdown of a telephone line, etc., is due to many people, instead of thanking and blessing such a useful servant, denigrating it and cursing the devices. And, incredible as it may seem, everything is made of atoms, and every atom reacts to the treatment it receives. The power of blessing is more than proven. Claim the perfect functioning of all the devices you own. Bless them. Bless all those who worked or are working on their operation. Give thanks for every service you receive, and offer a blessing in return. The results will astonish you. At night, before sleeping, invoke the angels of the pink flame and ask them to ignite the flame inside and outside your home, to surround and protect it, to guard all doors and windows, and to pour out their light to encompass all neighbors, so that everyone who brushes the hem of your garment feels the radiation of divine love and loses all desire to damage another's property. The Archangel Chamuel. The beloved Archangel Chamuel is the archangel of love, adoration, and devotion to God. He and his divine complement Charity are consecrated to developing, within the outer consciousness of humans, gratitude and adoration for their origin, God, and to stimulating the development of the pink flame that remains ignored within the human heart. Chamuel is a transcendental being of light who has served for many eons in the inner levels, teaching angelic hosts how to accelerate their own flames in praise of the deity. He has also served in the elemental temples, teaching these beings to raise their consciousness to the adoration of the Creator who made them. Chamuel and Charity have a glorious temple in the inner levels, built in a circular design, with a gold roof and inlaid with rubies. In this temple burns the flame of adoration for God and his messengers. It is directed by Archangel Chamuel toward non-ascended beings to encourage the development and realization of their own divine plan. And the flame is carried to humans by the legions of Archangel Chamuel himself. Every virtue has color and sound. The gratitude that emanates from the human heart is pink. When this gratitude is directed toward another human, the color is pale pink. When it is directed toward God or his divine beings who serve him and carries conscious praise and adoration, it is a more intense rose, and truly, it can be said to open the gates of heaven, and this ray returns more and more of this beautiful essence to the world of the one from whom such a blessing emanates. The love expressed by Archangel Chamuel is what moves human hearts, angels, and elementals to gratitude. It is what promotes respect and reverence for all life and the understanding of the great universal first cause. This love awakens the divine nature of the student to a conscious knowledge of gratitude for received blessings. Archangel Chamuel was separated from human consciousness for many centuries, and humans did not have access to his preference. But now, students can synchronize their worlds with that of this archangel and feel, through him, the great love that God has for his creation. The moment you allow your thoughts to rest on him, The moment you invoke his name and ask for his help, your world and Chamuel's become one. I recommend that you establish a companionship with Archangel Chamuel, and you will verify the vital help he brings to your world. Those who have the faculty of projecting, that is, performing consciousness projection or mental travel, should ask Archangel Chamuel to take them to his temple when their physical bodies are asleep, and there they will be instructed and helped to advance. You can also ask to be transported to the Great Castle of Freedom, located in the ether in southern France. This beautiful castle, where the pink flame burns, is decorated with lovely paintings and art objects. The paintings were executed by the painter Paolo Veronese. At one time, the third ray was directed by the ascended master Paul the Venetian, who, precisely in his last incarnation, was that painter Paolo Veronese. When the recent cosmic shift occurred, the Venetian ascended to become the Maha Chohan, meaning the Great Lord representing the Holy Spirit for planet Earth. The position he left vacant was entrusted to the ascended Master Lady Rowena, who holds it today. The beloved Master Lady Rowena was put in charge of the pink ray not long ago. In addition to being the director of this flame, she is a messenger of God Meru, an entity in charge of South America. One of the specialties or qualities of this beloved lady is to provide understanding to students. The beloved Master Lady Rowena says, "It is of the utmost importance that disciples appropriate the blessings and radiations of the third ray through the contemplation of divine love and the balance contained in becoming Christ in activity. In the world of forms, this means providing intelligent help. It means collaborating with spiritual counselors. It means following the direction of the Christic being, to bring enlightenment to consciousness. And it means being centers of radiation of pure divine love for the evolutions of the planet. The idea that when a being dies, if they are bad, they go to hell to roast in unquenchable flames for all eternity, and if they are good, they go into the presence of God to spend all time contemplating Him, is not true. Much less true is that they must spend the rest of their life lounging, sitting on a cloud, playing the harp, and singing. The being, from the moment it leaps as an initial atom from the very heart of God and falls into the wheel of evolution, starts very low and, incarnation after incarnation, transmutation upon transmutation, advances up the ladder of evolution, always in a positive, ascending direction. When the human being, upon disincarnating, has forgotten, escaped the low mental planes of ideas of war, hatred, inordinate ambitions, rivalries, and egoism, and has entered states of consciousness of peace, harmony, love, and generosity, upon leaving this plane, they enter another where they will continue to perform higher and more interesting duties, certainly deserved by their own effort and just merits. There they will acquire greater wisdom and greater powers. They will escape time as they will have consciousness of eternity, where time is not counted by years but by eons and dimensions. Among these duties, one of the highest is that of a director of a ray. But higher than that of a ray director is that of a system creator, a task reserved for the Elohim. In some very ancient Bibles, it is said that the Elohim created the earth. Everything alternates through time, blurring into the mists of the past, and old messages, altered, reach us confused and incomplete. Hence the need for God to send us, from time to time, a Messiah, an avatar, an emissary who comes, like Jesus, not to repeal the teachings but to reestablish them in their pristine purity, and to give us the message God has reserved for humankind for each era, according to its evolution. Jesus himself said, "These and many other truths I have reserved for you, but I cannot yet reveal them because you cannot yet comprehend them. Invocation. As I have already said, the Elohim are responsible for creating planetary systems, galaxies, etc. The creators of our planetary system were the Elohim Helios and Vesta. They, in turn, to create this system, had to ask for the help of other Elohim like themselves, builder gods. One of those who lent them aid was Orion with his twin flame Angelica. After their work was finished, they returned to their realm, that is, to the constellation of Orion. The beloved Elohim Orion says, I am Orion, Elohim of love. That divine love which has produced every sun and every galaxy in the universe, every star and every planet, every existing form, from the great solar galaxy to the most minute atom and elemental belonging to this planet. Divine love is a positive quality, and I entered the Earth's atmosphere, bringing with me the concentrated flame of that love. This flame is the cohesive power that brought into manifestation the earth on which you stand, where your entire organism functions, and every other visible manifestation. Every form you perceive and enjoy is part of my being, held in conjunction by the flame of love. Lend me your attention. If you know someone on earth with whom you are not in complete agreement, bring her now to your mind and allow me to give you the pressure of my feeling of loving, unconditional forgiveness towards her. If you accept this, I will cut off the recoil, that is, the return to you of the energies that comprise errors that caused enmity from each physical incarnation, good or bad, which we've chains that, if not dissolved here on earth, will have to be balanced in another realm through the lower vehicles. Invocation and decree. I am the rose flame of the love of Orion, Chamuel, and Lady Rowena. I am their complete surrender. I am the rose flame of the love of Orion, Chamuel, and Lady Rowena. I am their cosmic peace. I am the rose flame of the love of Orion, Chamuel, and Lady Rowena. I am their cosmic power. I am the rose flame of the love of Orion, Chamuel, and Lady Rowena. They duplicate that love in me every hour. Chapter 3. Archangel Gabriel. Day Wednesday. Fourth ray. Color white. Service hope. Virtue purity. Most beloved Gabriel, Archangel of purity and resurrection, I love and bless you and thank you for what you mean to me and to all the children and youth of this earth. Charge these my decrees with your cosmic pressure of love. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. I thank you in the name of all. Wednesday. The white flame. This day is Wednesday. The archangel who maintains it is Gabriel, and its complement is the beloved hope. The Elohim is named Clarity, and its complement is named Astrea. The director of this ray is the ascended Master Serapis Bey, whose etheric temple is located in Shambhala. Archangel Gabriel is known as the divine messenger, the one who brings great news. It was he who announced to Zacharias, husband of Elizabeth, first cousin of the beloved Mary, the birth of their son, John the Baptist. It was also he who announced to Mary the incarnation of the divine word in her purest womb. Whenever you feel confused, when in a given situation you don't know what to do or think, when you feel as if God has abandoned you, immediately invoke Archangel Gabriel. His complement will instantly appear and enter to give comfort to your heart. The fourth sphere of the causal body is the white ray. The Christ within each of us lives in that white flame. Remember what I have told you in previous lessons. You have the triple flame in your heart, Blue, gold, and pink are the three primary flames. In the center, a small white capsule where your Christ resides, your Christic presence, which is nothing more and nothing less than the presence of God in you, situated in your human octave so that you can reach it, dialogue with it, enter into it, acquire its wisdom, its knowledge, its powers, and its divine qualities, and become just like Jesus, the presence of God walking on earth. The white flame is the beginning of everything and the end or goal of all existence. It is the final step for the incarnated being on this plane. It is the end, as we say. It represents resurrection and ascension. It also encompasses what is called the Immaculate Concept, which is the purest truth within each of us and contains the divine blueprint designed for each being. Just like a seed which, despite being a tiny pip, encloses within itself the divine blueprint of a tree with its trunk, its leaves, its flowers, its root, and its fruits, all in vital function, that is, all capable of developing life, according to the design or pattern it has been given, noting that no two seeds are alike, nor even two leaves alike. Each has its particular pattern and must fulfill the function that corresponds to it inherently. With this, I want to express that each of us also has our own unique design that belongs to no one else, even if they are seemingly identical or similar. Every person or thing has a glorious destiny within the universal plan that no one else can fulfill. A place, a special talent, a way of acting, a personality distinct from that of another created being, and that is called the Immaculate Concept, yours, mine, or whoever's. The goal of all life, of every life stream, that is, of every living being, is to ascend to heaven, as it is commonly said. This ascent to heaven is what is called the ascension. We all want to reach that end, and we all will. The great ascension comes after the great resurrection. The great resurrection comes after the great crucifixion, and this after the final reincarnation. That is, during the final reincarnation, the crucifixion occurs, then the resurrection, and finally the ascension. Jesus left it all as an example. Every day we are going through these 4 steps. Every time we realize that the way we are doing something is not expedient and we opt for another, improved method, that is, we try a new way of doing it. Every time we adopt a new attitude towards something, we are taking these 3 steps because we have crucified a concept, we have resurrected an idea, and we have ascended 1 step. To crucify is not necessarily to suffer an agony or to make someone else suffer it. No. When we are crossing off a list of things we had to do, we place a cross next to those things we have already done or completed. Well, that is to crucify. The cross is the sign that means plus. It is the symbol of the positive. The minus sign is indicated by a horizontal line, which is the negative. By placing that horizontal negative line and on top of it a vertical positive line that crosses it, that minus negative has been crucified, that is, converted into positive, indeed directed towards the better, towards superiority. The day it occurs to you that you will catch more flies with honey than with vinegar, you are crucifying a negative way of catching flies. You resurrect an idea that potentially existed within you since you were created, and you ascend to a higher degree of intelligence and know-how. The day you learn to drive a car, you have crucified walking, you have resurrected dormant cells in your brain, and you have ascended to a higher degree in the scale of your knowledge, of reflex movements, and so on. The ascending step is mental. The mount where Jesus' crucifixion occurred was called Golgotha, which means skull, because it was shaped like a skull or cranium. You already know that coincidences do not exist. Everything is cause and effect. When a concept or an idea is crucified, or as is said in spiritual language, when it is limited, it becomes purified. When this occurs, vibrations accelerate, and the frequency of the entire being increases. Its light becomes brighter, more luminous, and its tone whiter. We all know what frequency is in electricity. Frequency is the number of oscillations that occur in a wave within a given time. As vibrations accelerate, the frequency number in electricity rises. Frequency is the number of oscillations that occur within a given time. As vibrations accelerate, the frequency number ascends, the brightness of the light ascends, purity ascends, the being ascends. When a person has acquired a very high vibratory frequency, no inferior, gray, negative thoughts of hatred or criticism, nor illnesses, accidents, annoyances, disturbances, cataclysms, nor anything considered less than good can approach them. Where there is a person who has reached a very high state of vibratory frequency, an earthquake cannot exist, for example. It is enough for that individual to be there, where it is going to occur or where it begins to occur, for their radiations to stop it, paralyze it, and prevent it. Why? How is that? Have you seen an electric fan spinning at its highest speed, that is, at its highest frequency? Have you seen what happens when a feather, a piece of cloth or paper, an insect, or anything else weaker than the force it spreads around enters its radius of action? You will see that the insect, piece of paper, or whatever it may be, is either violently thrown out or caught and crushed by the fan blades. That is, the extremely strong radiation it is developing does not allow anything to enter its radius of action, which it keeps clean and purified. The air that the apparatus violently expels disperses everything that approaches it. Likewise, when one is purified, nothing inferior can approach them. Only superior light can enter and pass through their vibratory frequency. You know that what you feed with your mind grows, increases. Every time we fix our thought on the center of the atom, the vibration of the electrons surrounding that nucleus accelerates. These electrons, by accelerating their vibration, cleanse themselves and create a more extensive area free of all impurity where the immaculate concept expands. What surrounds that atom can be a horrible form made by an accumulation of molecules, to which, by dint of thinking and feeling a terrible idea, we have ended up imprinting that form. It could be a monster created by us in past eras, when we were still ignorant of the truth. But the atom itself, the atoms that compose that molecule, are white, pure, immaculate at their center. They contain God in essence, and no one can transform God. He gives us atomic energy that enters by millions upon millions of units of energy into our hearts. The thoughts that pass through our minds are imprinted on the atomic energy, forming ugly or beautiful figures, according to what we think. Since the center of each atom is God, it is power, it is energy. It has, so to speak, an extremely powerful motor to create the forms we give to these masses of atoms. Each atom's center continues to be beautiful, perfect, adorable, and when the defective figure surrounding it dissolves, the original essence remains in all its perfection, but in the meantime, they are acting as we ordered them to act. Do you understand? Well, the way to begin to restore each atom to its original form and action is by remembering what it is: a perfect center of light, of love, of divine intelligence. That is recognizing the truth. And we all know that Jesus said, "Know the truth, and the truth will set you free." That truth we have recognized is what transforms and liberates the atoms. It is restoring the atoms that have been lent to us to their state of perfection. It is walking toward the white flame, toward ascension, the great ascension, and we will never again have a single painful or negative circumstance. It is heaven. My entire endeavor is to accustom you to seeing the Christ, that is, to seeing the divine center of the atom of every atom, no matter what it is. In everything, from garbage and excrement, to the finest perfume, the most delicate cream, the dirt of the street, the putrefying corpse, the most expensive ruby or diamond. Everything is the same substance, the same principle, the same essence. Only the thought that forged them is different. Up to now, we have concentrated on manifesting the things we need through some form of treatment, then thanking God and waiting until the condition or object appears in our lives. Now I am going to give you a new idea so that it may penetrate your subconscious. It will mature and elevate the whole mass, as Jesus says. As I already said, every minute countless millions upon millions of units of electronic light enter the heart. That electronic light is the substance of all things. God's substance, as we call it. Therefore, think for a moment. It is the substance of all things. The substance of everything we can desire. This can be healings, illuminations, liberations, virtues, objects, in short, for which no limit or measure has been set. It is the substance of all that exists. That means the Father has already provided and foreseen everything that can happen to us or that we might need. Everything we already have in our hearts in the form of essence. What needs to be done is to precipitate it outward. That which we call precipitations, and which we name demonstration or manifestation. It is an art and a science. Note carefully, until now we have demonstrated it without even knowing how we did it, or how it was achieved, or who performs that work. Now you know that it is a science that must be learned. People who die arrive on the other side with a kind of clothing made of astral material, like floating veils. That is why ghosts are always depicted with vague, shifting tools. Since each person already has an established concept that one cannot and should not walk around naked, the subconscious wraps the astral body in astral matter so that it does not go unclothed. The subconscious is always pleasing us. Later, when the spirit progresses and ascends to higher planes, it learns to precipitate what it desires. Then it dresses as it pleases. The clothing is made of astral or etheric or spiritual material depending on the plane they are on. That is why we see the figures of angels and seraphim attired in beautiful robes with precious stones, etc. There are spirits who in this life were Hindus in their last incarnation, and that is the attire they like best. Others were figures from the Middle Ages, beautiful ladies from the time of the Louises. In short, each one dresses as they like best and manifests it with the electronic substance they have within their heart, which is inexhaustible and constant, because God wants each of His children to manifest what they are. A prince or a princess in the Father's mansion with absolute powers. To help you understand better, I am going to tell you about an event that happened to me. A gentleman friend of mine, quite advanced in matters I have yet to learn, told me one day, I had a terrible night with this or that. I had no food in the house and felt very weak. Fortunately, I know how to precipitate, so I formed the taste and substance of an apple, ingested it, and my weakness passed. Afterward, I did the same with a glass of milk. I, of course, remained very thoughtful, meditating deeply on it until I understood the principle of the matter. Do you understand what I'm saying? He merely had to invoke from within himself the substance of a glass of milk and an apple, the taste, and probably even the form, eat and drink them, and that was it. The miracle of the loaves and fishes performed by Jesus was nothing else. Do you recall that in one of my previous classes I told you this phrase? My world contains everything, and I taught you how to use it? Are you seeing how it is more than you could have imagined? In every respectable and reputable hotel, everything must function perfectly. I mean the plumbing, electricity, and so on. Lamps must have bulbs. Water must run in the bathroom. Do you want access to this and all the complete audiobooks on the channel, plus the ebook version? Click the link in the description or scan the QR code in the left corner of the screen to access our library, where you can listen to your favorite esoteric books without ad interruptions, lock your screen, or use other apps while the narration plays, and even download the ebook version to follow along as you listen. Listen on your computer via web browser, or download the app from the Play Store. After subscribing, you will receive an email with your login details, password, and step-by-step instructions on how to access the books through the Hotmart app.